Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of r/entitled people stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Karen X turned my house from a 4-bedroom into a 3-bedroom, so I'm suing her. After that, my mother stole $160,000 from me. And after that, am I the jerk for saying I won't come to Christmas at my in-laws if I can't wear a hat? Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen does not get to ruin anyone's house. What about your shack? Can I ruin that, Reddit boy? So please smash that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Karen X turned my house from a 4-bedroom into a 3-bedroom, so I'm suing her. My ex and I divorced about 15 years ago, and we have shared custody of our daughter. In the divorce, she wanted our house, but I fought hard against it because it's been my family home for 3 generations before I inherited it. In the end, we came to a compromise that was signed off by the judge. Basically, she gets to live in the house rent-free until our daughter turns 18. Then I get it back. I had to pay the utilities, maintenance, and property taxes the entire time. In addition, she can't make any modifications or upgrades to the house without my written permission. She's solely responsible for the cost, and the work has to be performed by an insured and legally licensed professional. I've been sending her move-out notices for months in anticipation of my daughter's 18th birthday, and recently that came to pass. The day after, I showed up to the house with a contractor because I wanted some work done before I moved back in. At first, she refused to let me in until I reminded her that I'm the legal owner of the house. According to our divorce agreement signed by the judge, she's no longer allowed to be there, and I'll call the police if she doesn't let me in. She got the point and opened the door. I was surprised nothing was packed, and it didn't seem like she was moving at all. We were arguing as I walked through and inspected my house. She wanted extra time, and I told her to be out by the end of the week or I'll have her stuff thrown out. When I walked into the living room, I was shocked into silence. The living room was expanded by a wall being torn down and having the bedroom that was once there merged into it. She turned my 4-bedroom house into a 3-bedroom one. I know I didn't sign off on this, and from the looks of it, the work was probably done by her boyfriend and not a professional. I yelled at her and told her I'm going to sue her for everything she has, then I left. She went crying to our daughter and my family, and now everyone is telling me to give her another month to find a place and to not sue her. My daughter is firmly on her mother's side and thinks I'm the jerk for kicking her mother out a couple of weeks before Christmas and suing her. This is why I'm here. I think I'm right, and legally I am right, but my daughter's opinion of me matters to me. Am I the jerk? Edit to answer some questions. 1. My daughter is a freshman in college, and I rent her an apartment near campus where she lives by herself. She has a room in my house, and I assume she will have a room wherever her mother lives. 2. My ex fought for the house and had a chance of winning, even though we had shared custody because I make much more than her. I offered her the compromise, and she took it because her attorney told her it was a good deal and there's an equal chance I could win, which would leave her without a house. 3. My relationship with my daughter is good. She didn't tell me about the renovation because early on I told her I don't want to talk or hear anything about her mother unless it's something that's affecting her, my daughter, negatively. My ex was done to me, and I wanted to spend time with my daughter building new memories. Edit to answer more questions. My daughter is a wonderful girl, and I couldn't ask for a better daughter. She has a big heart and cares about her mother. I've made it a point to never talk about her mother since the divorce, so I'm sure she doesn't fully understand our situation. I plan to talk to her. 2. I inherited the house during our marriage, and since we were still in the honeymoon phase, I placed her name on the deed. After that, I remortgaged the house twice, once to get a better rate and once for money we needed. All of this led to my attorney advising that I compromise. He said there's a real risk of losing the house, so I compromised. I don't know where you live and the worth of your house, but where I live, there's a huge price difference between a 3-bedroom house and a 4-bedroom one. Your ex's actions caused you to lose tens, if not $100,000. Not the jerk, and sue her. She's had 15 years to find an alternative accommodation. You even sent her reminders. And she violated the agreement by having unauthorized work done? Yeah, just no. Kick her out. Not the jerk. Not the jerk. Christmas is a day. She intentionally messed up the value of your house without your permission, against the judge's orders. Sue her. Well, what do you think? Should OP sue his ex or not? Please let us know. My mother stole $160,000 from me. I, 24 female, found out earlier this year that I was supposed to receive around $160,000 in inheritance money when my father passed away. I found out by looking into a cabinet in our house. I was compelled to do so because my mother acts rich or poor whenever it suits her, plus other strange behavior. I found a letter that was addressed specifically to me from the life insurance company that had my inheritance. All I needed to do was submit some paperwork and they'd give me a check. I'm not sure how, but my mother somehow submitted documents for me and even cashed the check that was in my name. I'm also not sure why she felt entitled to it when she got $500,000 in inheritance herself. When I confronted her about it, she obviously did not take it well. She was very adamant that it's her money, until I informed her that, after I found the documents, I called the life insurance company and received photocopies of the check, the submitted documents, etc. After I told her that, she tried negotiating with me, saying that she can give me $10,000 to start with and then $2,000 every month. I said no. I said she will guilt me into delaying her payments if we go that route. She tells me she will be homeless if I get all the money at once. I eventually make her show me her bank statements. As far as I know, she has around $330,000. In addition, she's been making six figures with her job for the past 3 years. Homeless? Yeah, right. I told her I need a good amount of money if I want to have any chance of moving out. I wanted to move out with my friend, but my mom took way too long to give me any money. I received $50,000 from her. Like a week or so later, she started asking if she could borrow $20,000 for a month. She said that she needs it in her bank account so that the lender can approve of the condo or house she wants to buy. She asked if I would be okay, and I stupidly told her that I'd be getting grants from school too. She then wanted to borrow $20,000 on top of the grant money by passive-aggressively mentioning it whenever she could. A few weeks later, she forced me to go with her to the bank to withdraw $20,000. This was on October 3rd. On November 23rd, I asked her to give me $2,000. I told her it's been almost 2 months and I want a portion of it back via text. She gives me the silent treatment, in text and in person. The next day, I try calling her. She starts crying hysterically, saying, 1. I knew I shouldn't have trusted you with money. 2. What are you doing? Things you shouldn't be? Are you gambling? Why are you so mean? You ruined my holiday. You've ruined my life. You're abnormal. You're just doing this because you're behind in life and you're desperate. You don't have utilities to pay for. I spent so much money on food the past month. I'm not exaggerating when I say I've never told her to buy me food or make me food, but she always uses it as a form of guilt. A couple of days later, we have a 4-hour argument. During this argument, I was so disgusted with her behavior that I told her I want nothing to do with her. A couple of days after that, to my surprise, she comes into my room and asks me to hug her. She starts crying and says that she just suppresses her thoughts and feelings. She says she'll give me $500 now and then $500 on December 22nd. What? I swallowed my anger for a couple of days, but then I could no longer hold it in. I wasn't giving her the silent treatment, but I wasn't looking at her or initiating any form of talking. She notices this and starts asking what's wrong. She goes, "It's the money, isn't it?" And then repeats the same thing she did last time. "Are you gambling? You have no utilities," etc. And again, she made it very clear that she wants to buy a condo or a house. I just can't remember which. I told her I'm mad at her because you told me you needed $20,000 for a month. It's been over 2 months and now you're still not giving it back, so you lied. After this, she started acting like she was about to cry and then she left the house. She then transferred another $500. I haven't talked to her since. It infuriates me that she thinks she's entitled to this money. Why do you need a house? You're getting old and you're single. Secondly, not only was this money only in your account in the first place because you committed fraud, but now I let you borrow money and you're going to treat me like it's an allowance? It's my money legally. Get over it. You already got $500,000 before you took my money. Since I was 18, I've been working minimum wage jobs. She's made it so clear as day that she thinks her needs are way above mine. I don't have utilities. I don't have a career yet, so I'm less important. Even if that's factually true, I'm your kid, and that money is legally mine. Also, I just want to share this example of her behavior that I just remembered. When I was 19, I was working at a tutoring place in addition to a restaurant, while taking 16 units in college with no car. I was leaving the house one day to go get a haircut. My mom then asked me, "Where are you going?" I told her I'm going to go get a haircut. She then says, verbatim, "Really? You're supposed to be using that money to help me." That's how entitled she is. Like, OMG. At this point, she received $660,000, while her kid, who is a full-time student with 2 jobs and no car, is not important enough to use the money they earned from their job to go get a haircut. I'm so mad, and I just have a huge problem with getting this taken care of because I hate making people uncomfortable. This is also why I usually cannot blindside a person by randomly bringing an issue up. I usually have to text them first, but I'm starting to think that that's never a good idea. Ugh. Get an attorney and sue her. She's manipulating you left and right, and she's falsified documents and stole your money. Press charges. Get a lawyer. Mail fraud, insurance fraud, identity theft. Why are you being miserable for her? She's very likely ruining your credit and aspects of your future. You don't owe her anything. You need to stop this before it's too far. Your mother stole $160,000 from you, and you're worried about making her uncomfortable? She obviously wasn't uncomfortable forging your signature to steal the money. She has the money in her account, and you should demand she repay it in full immediately. She's a crappy person for continuing to manipulate you, and so what if she suddenly can't afford something as a direct consequence of her theft? She should be grateful you haven't retained an attorney and come after her or called the police. Am I the jerk for saying I won't come to Christmas at my in-laws if I can't wear a hat? This is a petty little thing, but maybe you guys can help me know if I was in the wrong. For context, I, 25 female, got married in November. My mother-in-law doesn't really like me, even trying to steal the spotlight at my wedding, but is still overly traditional. At Thanksgiving, I was having a really bad hair day, so I wore a black leather cap, a dressier newsboy style one, which my husband said looked great on me. The holiday was hostile, even more so than prior gatherings I'd been to, and hubby said mother-in-law said it was because I wore a hat, but I know that was just an excuse. I told mother-in-law I wouldn't come to Christmas with them, then blocked her number and Facebook. My husband is trying to keep us both happy since he doesn't like conflict. He wants me to come to one more celebration to see if maybe people are getting used to me. He's told mother-in-law she needs to be nice and treat me as part of the family since I am, and that if I feel unwelcome at Christmas like I did at Thanksgiving, that we won't attend future events and she won't see him much anymore. I understand why he wants me to give her one final chance and haven't had any conflict with him. Marriage is about compromise, and I get that he doesn't want to cut her off since she's his mother, but I just don't want to be involved with her unless I have to be. I wanted to see if mother-in-law was listening to him, so I asked my husband to request that I be allowed to wear the same hat to Christmas. Hubby said he thought I'd worn it since I'd had a bad hair day, but this time it's a statement that they shouldn't treat me as an outsider, either because I wear hats all the time. Right now it's just a sports visor, which I'd never wear to a holiday, so it's not like I'm doing that, or they just don't like me. If they won't let me wear a hat, what else are they going to restrict about me? Let me be me or I won't come over, period. My husband agreed and relayed this to mother-in-law, and she's been asking him why he married the devil. He's growing tense with me, and I told him he'll probably have to pick a side sooner or later and that I never intended it that way. He spent last night at a friend's house because he needed to think. I feel bad because I care about him and know conflict stresses him out. I told him to text me when he was ready to talk. He hasn't yet. My friends think that my hat request was unnecessary and maybe I strained my relationship with my husband. I think he just needed space to think because conflict stresses him out. So I gotta ask, am I the jerk for saying I won't come if I can't wear a hat? Update. My husband just texted me saying he just got off the phone with his mother. He told her off for calling me the devil and said that if I can't wear a hat, he's not coming either, and that she really should get over her antiquated BS. She did not respond well. I don't think we're going to Christmas there now, so maybe we'll have a Friendsmas. I don't know. We'll think of something. Everyone sucks here. You took a situation that could have been a first step towards a less contentious relationship with your mother-in-law and made demands which intentionally antagonized her. Of course you should be able to wear whatever you want, and your mother-in-law is being insane in this situation. But do you want to be right, or do you want peace in your family? You're the jerk. You're literally trying to bait mother-in-law. It's like you want a reaction from her. it's generally considered rude to be wearing a hat indoors or while dining. And bad hair day? It's a family get-together. Seems pretty immature to even be thinking about that. I'd expect it from a teenager maybe, but an adult? You're putting your husband in a crappy situation. What? People are allowed to be self-conscious about their appearance at any age, especially during the holidays when many people they don't typically see will be there and many photos are taken. ETA, y'all coming after me for things unrelated to my comment are annoying. I think OP is petty, but saying grown people aren't allowed to care about their appearance is not like other girls to the max. Rude to wear a hat indoors? Is it still 1950? I disagree about the hat thing. Only old people care about that. The idea that wearing a hat indoors or while eating is rude, at least in the US, has been gone for decades. You're the jerk. Now it just sounds like you're trying to mess with her. Also, a lot of people do consider it rude to wear a hat in your home. Grow up. Wearing a hat inside doesn't make you a jerk. Treating someone like they don't belong because of a hat does though. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her mother-in-law? Please let us know. When you're a guest in someone's home for the holiday, how hard is it to just honor their simple request of removing a hat? My age may be showing here, but I'm just glad that I was taught to show respect to my elders when I was growing up. Am I the jerk if I tell my guests, family, that I need to be reimbursed for buying, preparing, and cooking Christmas dinner? I'm 21 and have a really close family. We always had Christmas at my grandma's house, but she passed last January, and so there was a lot of discussion as to who would do the dinner. My opinion was it would be best to have one of the younger people do it. That way we can have a long-standing tradition that lasts years. There was some arguing back and forth between me and my aunt, but finally she said, fine. I was kind of thinking my 29-year-old cousin would step up since she has a really nice house and a kitchen, but then she said she would be going to Germany this year. Finally, after a month of no one volunteering, my mom said I had really upset my aunt, and I needed to do Christmas this year since I was so adamant about a young person doing it. I was not going to be proved wrong, so I said I would. So a couple of things. I'm a good cook, so I'm not worried about that part, but it's way more expensive than I thought it would be, especially with inflation. I also realized that my apartment is way too small, so I rented a really nice Airbnb for the day. And I had to buy all new dishes, cookware, servingware, table spread, etc. This is going to cost me about $4,500, and that's going on my credit card. A 21-year-old putting $4,500 on their credit card to host a Christmas dinner for their family. Only on Reddit. So we're having between 20 and 25 people, and I don't think it's unreasonable to ask them to pay between $250 and $300 each, so I'm not financially ruined by this. I'm a first-year teacher, and I can't afford that. When I told my mom about this idea, she said, don't you dare even consider it. Her argument was it was my idea, and I even argued with my aunt. All my grandma's stuff packed up, and it's in great shape. I didn't need to get a whole new spread from Pottery Barn, and why didn't I just ask someone else to host? And I could cook, and that my grandma never once asked for anything in return, so this could splinter the family. She said, admit, you bit off more than you could chew. Take everything back, cancel the Airbnb, and ask for help with hosting and cooking. I said no, I could do it, but I needed money. She said I was embarrassing the heck out of her and she may not come. My own mom threatening to not come to my Christmas is making me feel like a jerk. Am I, or would I be? Edit. Thank you for the input. I will be calling my aunt and trying to work this out, and I will return all of the stuff I can and cancel the Airbnb. Edit 2. This has blown up more than I could ever anticipate. I'll post this and try to read through comments. I talked to my aunt, and she said that she's happy to host and says I can help her with the cooking. She said we need to put on a good face for Christmas, but after the holiday, we need to clear the air because I guess I really hurt her feelings. I've put in a request to cancel the Airbnb, and we'll start returning things to Pottery Barn and Williams-Sonoma. Although it's going to make me very sad because it's such pretty stuff. Thank you for reading. You're the jerk. Every single cost that you listed was a choice you made of your own volition. You're the jerk. Hosting a party does not mean charging your guests hundreds of dollars. Your mother is right that you do not need to buy a new spread, rent an Airbnb, etc. Perhaps you now realize the reason why family holidays are generally hosted by more established members of the family. They tend to have bigger homes for hosting, china sets, and the cash to buy a large meal. Time to swallow your pride and apologize. You're the jerk. You messed around and found out. This is all on you, and you'd be absolutely ridiculous to ask your family members for money to host Christmas. Hosting is hard, exhausting, and expensive. Never take it for granted again, and be a stellar guest going forward. Am I the jerk for refusing to give up my dog for my dad's fiancée and her son? I'm really upset about this right now. I'm 17, female. My parents divorced when I was 12. It was really rough. They pretty much hate each other and still have trouble doing anything together where I'm concerned. I try not to talk about them to each other and just keep things separate. All the fighting and chaos was hard on me and was affecting my mood and schoolwork when it was all going down. So my dad felt bad and let me have a dog to help me feel better. Someone nearby had Malamute puppies, so I picked one up, and his name is Tycho, and he's my best friend. Even on the weeks I'm with my mom, I stop by after school every day to take him to the dog park to play and get his cuddles in. I love this dog. My dad started dating Melanie a few years ago. I don't really connect with her. We're really just different, and she's way too touchy, but she makes my dad happy, so whatever. Her son, Ben, who's 9, is autistic and needs a lot of accommodations. He gets really upset and has meltdowns when things change or are done differently. He's also really scared of Tycho, even though as far as I know, Tycho has never done anything to scare him. He's a really laid-back and well-behaved dog. Dad and Melanie recently got engaged, and they want to go ahead and move her and Ben in so that they can get rid of their apartment and save money. My dad told me about it and said that since Ben is afraid of Tycho and needs a stable environment at home, Tycho is going to have to go somewhere else. My mom's townhouse doesn't have room for him, and my grandparents aren't in good enough health to look after a big dog, so we would have to rehome him. I admit I didn't take it very well, and we had a big fight. I told him that no way was I going to give up my dog, and I'm going to college next year anyway, so they can put off the move until the spring when I can find a place to take him with me. My dad says they need to do the move over the holidays, and Ben is more important than a dog. I told him if he gives away my dog, I'll never forgive him, and that he obviously thinks Ben is more important than me too. My dad is mad because I'm making this a choice between me and his fiancée basically. Melanie is having second thoughts about the engagement since I don't want to live with them. My mom is mad at my dad and they're fighting again, and I'm afraid to leave Tycho alone because he might not be there when I get back. My aunt says I'm being childish and my dad deserves to be happy. Am I the jerk? Edit. I talked to my mom and grandparents after school. I brought Tycho to my mom's place this afternoon, and I'm going to take him to my grandparents tomorrow. I'm going to split time between them and my mom for a while, and my grandparents said that if I go to college nearby, I can live with them while I study to make sure I don't lose my dog. So I'm going to look at maybe doing 2 years at a local college and then transferring to a university later. I haven't told my dad yet, but I will after I get Tycho settled tomorrow. I already went online and made sure his chip information is up to date with all my info and my mom's as a backup. I'd do almost anything to not lose my dog, including just not going to college right now if that's what I have to do. He takes care of me, so I have to take care of him. Not the jerk. Your dad shouldn't have given you a dog to take it away later. However, you also need to be prepared. It isn't easy to find a place to take a large dog. If your plan is to bring him with you, you need to be working and saving money. You will likely need to rent a house or a room in a house where they let you have him, and you'll have vet bills to cover, food, etc. Not the jerk. I usually side with parents, but rehoming your dog because he can't wait 6 months to move his girlfriend into the house seems like he is choosing his girlfriend over his kid, and that's a huge no-no. Melanie's son does have a right to feel safe in his own home, but that does not include forcing you to get rid of your dog. That's just not a legitimate thought to have. Maybe Melanie should have second thoughts about your dad. Not the jerk. Make it perfectly clear to your dad that if he wants any relationship with you going forward, they need to find a way to make you keeping your dog work. If he unilaterally makes the decision about your dog, do what you can to track it and the home it's in so that you can get him back when you move out. Then go no contact with your dad. He neither loves nor cares about you, so he doesn't deserve to have you in his life. This is the best advice. Let him know ahead of time that you will never speak to him again if he gives your dog away, and then follow through. I have a friend around my age, 50s, whose stepmother gave away her dog. She has not spoken to her father since that day, and she does not regret it. Am I the jerk for not wanting my friend's little sister to crash our Dungeons & Dragons campaign? I, male 22, have a tight friendship group with R, L, and V, all male 22. We met at our local Dungeons & Dragons club and have been hanging out for years. We've been doing this great campaign for about a month now, and we'd been planning to have our campaign finale with themed snacks, drinks, and decorations in V's apartment. He has the biggest because he shares it with his girlfriend. V also lives with his little sister, A, who's 11, after his mom passed a few years ago. The plan had been for his girlfriend to look after A at her parents' place, but the day of, he messages us saying that she can't babysit anymore because her mom fell on some ice and was in the hospital. He offered that we could either rearrange or could do it with A there. She'd just play video games in the background. Immediately, L and R say they don't have an issue with her being there, and we could even make her her own character for the campaign. I couldn't understand this though. It was meant to be just us, and putting in a random new character in the finale would ruin it. Plus, A is super clingy to V, so I knew it would take his attention off the campaign if she was there. I asked V if he couldn't find an alternative babysitter before the evening so we could still do this as planned. He said he didn't want to put A with someone she didn't know so last minute for something easily rearrangeable because he knew it would upset her. I got annoyed then at him calling our event rearrangeable and called him out on it. He said I had to be joking if I thought a Dungeons & Dragons campaign was more important to him than his little sister's comfort. I said I absolutely wasn't saying that, but I wasn't prepared to have our night turned into free babysitting. V said he had already offered to rearrange and that I was free to host myself sometime if I had such a problem with his sister. This was uncalled for because he knows I can't host because I don't have the time or space to prepare or clean them up. L and R both privately messaged me and basically said I was the only one who cared and that we should be sympathetic to V's situation. I have a lot of respect for V, but I still don't see why he couldn't have just put A with a babysitter for an evening so our plans didn't get ruined, or why his girlfriend couldn't take her to the hospital too. How is not wanting some random kid at our game night an issue? They ended up hanging out that night. I was invited, but I didn't go, and doing a one-shot campaign, which also annoyed me because we always play Dungeons & Dragons together. My mom thinks I was a jerk because V is raising a kid by himself, but he has money from his inheritance and gets help from girlfriend's family, so he isn't alone. My brothers agree that I'm not the jerk here because V shouldn't baby A so much that he won't even put her with a babysitter. I want some reassurance on this, so I've come here. Am I the jerk? Edit. Okay, I see overwhelmingly I'm being voted the jerk. I'm gonna take some time away from Reddit now because I've started getting threats to think about what happened and then try to talk to V. I definitely don't think I'd been appreciating his role of being that of a parent, not just an older brother, and I need to say sorry. I struggled to make friends in school, and Dungeons & Dragons was one of those ways I made friends, but I think I've been too focused on the game itself rather than the good friends I've been playing with. Hopefully I can mend this with everyone. I was afraid of the change, but ended up making it worse. Once I've thought about what I'm going to say, I'll talk to him and update you. Also, just to add for those confused, 1. My issue was never her joining us or being there. It was really that everyone seemed to reach a consensus on changing the whole plan so last minute. I should have just asked to reschedule. I let my excitement for the event get the better of me and was desperate for it to go ahead as planned. 2. This was the finale of the first arc, which I should have specified. I was attached to it so much after only a month because it's been our best yet, and I was afraid of it being ruined or changing. But like people have said, the whole point of Dungeons & Dragons is change, and no good campaign is made by refusing to accept that. This is happening in her own home? If anyone is crashing by being there, it's you. You're the jerk. Wow, I haven't seen something this entitled in here all week. Yeah, you're the jerk and a big one. First, it's not free babysitting. She lives there in the place you'd be going to visit. Get that part straight. Second, bringing her to the hospital? Really? That was actually one of your solutions? You really need to get over yourself. Look at you throwing a temper tantrum over this and getting mad that they had a one-shot D&D night without you, since you couldn't handle having an 11-year-old around. Goodness. Try role-playing as a caring and understandable friend, and you can easily come to the same conclusion as they did, and the rest of us here on Reddit have. You're the jerk. My girlfriend is demanding I buy her a six-figure car. I, 24 male, am dating a woman who's 26 and will refer to her as A. For some context, I drive a 2019 Nissan GTR. It was my dream car growing up, and I told myself when I made it and made enough to afford it financially and not have it be everything in my bank account. I work a job making close to six figures, and I've learned to invest in stocks and crypto. I've made some good money, but of course, stocks and crypto are never promised and could crumble tomorrow. My girlfriend drives a 2018 BMW M3, and it's a very nice car in good condition with no issues under the hood. The other day, she suggested I should order her a new Tesla for Christmas. The one she wanted before I put work into my car was more than my car had cost. Of course, I'm not saying I don't or won't spend money on her, but she drives a very nice car that I paid for. She pays the insurance and the maintenance and upkeep. That is still a luxury car that drives well. I argued with her that I wasn't going to drop six figures on a car when I'm looking at buying us a house. Yes, even though we're under the dating title, we have extremely strong love for each other. Crap, she has my name tatted on her. Not my idea. And while I love her and am always buying her what I think she'd like or tells me that she likes as gifts, I just really think it's financially irresponsible to buy a new car for no reason. She tried insinuating I was being cheap because I spent more money on my car than I did hers, and my car has work done on it. She tried accusing me of not loving her and only giving a hoot about myself. I genuinely don't think I'm the jerk for spending my money that I work for on whatever I'd like. Yes, she works a job that she finds ideal and went to school for and enjoys, and I'm not pocket watching her. Am I the jerk for refusing to buy her a new car? Edit. Just to clarify, when I do math, I automatically factor in taxes because I don't consider it my money. Or when I spend on something, it's not whatever the sticker price is, it's with taxes and fees included in my brain. What I should have specified is that I pull in close to six figures after taxes. My apologies for any miscommunications on my end. Edit 2. Some comments were suggesting I show her this thread. While I thought I was in the wrong, I didn't think I'd get an overwhelming amount of people pretty much in agreement with each other that her actions are like a gold digger. I don't know if it will make her more offended or be the reality check that she needs. Support our channel by joining as a member today, and we'll give you a shout out in our next video. Or come watch this video next. You won't believe what Karen does in that one.